Hey guys, great to be back. Today I want to talk about the inner and the outer world. Hey guys, great to be back. Today I want to talk about the inner and the outer world. In one of the vlog posts before, I talked about having an inner and an outer world, and obviously our main focus, in our society at least, is the outer world. This is what we see. So the eyes look out, we're focused on the outside, and this is where all the fun is happening, basically. The places you can go to, the goals you can achieve, the money you can make, and also the admiration from other people that you can get based on your successes. This is really the place where we can show off. But then we have the side of ourselves that is quite neglected. That's the inside. So the interesting thing is actually the inner and the outer should be the same. They should mirror each other. The issue is, though, that the outside never really mirrors the inside, but the inside always mirrors the outside. So what do I mean with that? Let's imagine you grew up really poor and your parents didn't have much money, and then you become famous in whatever field, that might be. So suddenly you have lots of money. But the big question is, do you feel rich? Or does the feeling that you had growing up being poor cancel out the money you have? So on the inside, you're still restricted. You feel really poor. You don't have enough. On the outside, you have a vast amount of money. The best example is that somebody I knew went out with Moby in New York, and he told her that when he makes his cereal in the morning, he has a really hard time only to use soy milk. He always had to mix the milk with water because he was too afraid to be poor one day again. So this is what I mean. We can change things on the outside, and we so focus on the outside, but this doesn't change anything how we feel inside. I mean, that's why there are rich people who are still afraid of not having enough money. So that's the thing on the outside. So the outside, what does this teach us is that the outside will not bring us happiness, because it doesn't matter how successful you are. And when we go back to one of the older posts, when I was talking about Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, who said everything that has a beginning and has an end isn't real, then that also means nothing on the outside is really real, because everything there has a beginning and has an end, besides the deeper connection you have with people or with other living beings, I would say. The inside is the opposite of the outside, because on the inside, when you change your inside, when you are more loving to yourself, when you take better care of yourself, then the outside must reflect that. So whatever your inside belief is what the world is mirroring back to you. And that's also really interesting when you live in places like New York, because there's just such a vast number of really talented people in New York. And then you meet these people who are really talented, and they just don't have that inner belief that they have this talent. And they don't get anywhere, ever. And the other group that annoys me even more is the group that doesn't have any talent, but they think they're the greatest thing that ever happened to any field. and that is reflected also. So they suddenly get really well known and make lots of money. And you look at their work and you wonder why. So this is why it's so important to focus on the inside. Because all that struggle, all that energy we put into the world outside of ourselves will not lead to happiness. No place you can travel to, not one amazing thing that you can experience will ultimately make you happy, because it's on the outside and it's fleeting, so it's here one moment and then it's gone the next. You will always depend on the outside this way. So you just need a new thing, a new experience, and then you have a moment of happiness, but it's illusionary, because we all know when you have what you want something else that you want. But when we find a deeper connection with ourselves, when we connect to ourselves, when we're gentle to ourselves, when we love ourselves, and I will go deeper into that in one of the future vlogs, because it's not about loving your ego, but when you find that connection, then things change. Then you draw happiness into your life. Then you draw people into your life that love you as much as you love yourself. Now, in the past, before Corona, obviously you could show off with the outer, you could show off with your money, you could show off with your intelligence, you could show off with, with your social status. You could show off with all these things, with your creativity, with all these things. But now we're quite restricted. I mean, look at famous teachers or famous late night hosts that sit in front of a camera like I do right now, and there's nobody in front of them anymore. And for most people, at least at the moment in Germany, you can't go anywhere. I mean, you can't even show off your girlfriend. You can't show off your maybe you can drive around with your car or something, but there's no place to go. You can't go to fancy restaurants. There's no place to show off the outer, as you were not able to show off the inner before, because if you did a lot of inner work, if you meditated like 2 hours a day, and people feel it, they're attracted to it, because you have some sort of different energy, and we all feel that. But you will not have a six-pack, and you will not have any of these things that are easy to show off, like a nice car. Or I'm not saying that you don't have that when you meditate, but it's not your main focus, and maybe you don't have it because you're more focused on the inner. This has changed now. So now, if you put a lot of work into the outer, you're probably more frustrated than the people that put a lot of work into the inner, because they couldn't show off the inner before, but now you can't show the outer, and you focus so much of your energy, so much of your time, so much of your life into the outer. So that's why it is so important, at least in my experience, to focus on the inner, because when you focus on the inner, nobody can take this away from you. Everything else can be taken away from you. Your money, your girlfriend, your fame, your reputation, all these things are very fragile. I mean, all that has to happen is something comes along like Corona, and out of the door it is, I mean, who's seeing your nice clothes now? 3 people on the Skype call. Great. Success. So, especially now, in a time where we can't focus on the outer, it's much easier to get started with the inner, because why focus on the outer? There's nobody there to see it, so much rather put effort into the inner, because when you have a good relationship to yourself, when you are in connection with what you really want, I mean, nobody can take this away from you. I mean, somebody might kill you, but maybe that is not even the way to take this away from you. You might, that we don't know, but you might take it with you to wherever you go. I mean, we know we can't take the money with us, ultimately at the end. But maybe we can take that with us, because that stays with us wherever we go. That's why it's so important to focus on the inner. This is what we do with this vlog. Thank you so much for being here. I see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.